Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we're going to take a look at page 2 of issue 3 of Blood Force. And just before we get into it, focus. If you enjoy the channel, if you think you might want to support me a little as an artist, best thing to do is to open up the description. There's a link there to my Patreon. And if you subscribe there, that gives you access to the Blood Force pages. It also gives you access to these videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. So let's get into it here. This is, of course, page 2 and 3, at least partially. I considered doing both of these as one video because they were largely done as one stream, but the whole thing together was like half an hour, so with like ending commentary like 33 minutes maybe. It's like, nobody needs that. So I'm gonna break them up here. I'm gonna parse them out. I may release an extra one. I don't know if there's a gap somewhere, but why not give myself a bit of lead time? So this is a double-page spread. This is the first official double-page spread for Blood Force. I've had a few where there was a large double-page panel. You know, like the whole thing was a spread, but it was multiple panels still. This is the first big, one image over 2 pages. So very exciting there. And this is the first cut in the issue, as in scene transition. So we're going directly from Popol being transported? Tortured. It's not remotely the same. It's okay. Doesn't matter. To Blood Bastion, where Fireburn and Hard are meant to be transporting Cyberserk to the prison facility that's at Blood Bastion, conveniently, which is called the Blood Cells. That was another one of those ones where I thought of it as like, oh, that's a good one. Not particularly difficult, but it's like, yeah, no, that's the right name. Okay, good stuff. And as we can see, Hard and Fireburn cannot handle transporting Cyberserk to the Blood Cells. Particularly when they get the bright idea to cut through Shockblock's lab, which is what they've done here. And naturally, all hell has broken loose. So we're going to have a gigantic shot of Hard here on the right. This isn't what we're going to be focusing on today so much. I mean, getting the pencils out of the way, sure. But this is largely going to be focusing on the page on the left here, page 2 today. But need the whole thing all together so that I have an idea of what it's going to look like as a cohesive whole. You don't want to try and just do page 2 and then marry it up at the end there, because you're just asking for shit to go wrong, essentially. And got a pretty good pose out of Hard here, I think. Got him nice and twisted up, nice and dynamic. He's punching the ground, because that's all Hard can think to do. You're not going to see a whole lot of clever use of Hard's powers, I'll say, because cleverness is a little bit beyond him. And you can't really see it up in the corner there, but that is Fireburn. Unfortunately, with the lights, it makes it a little tough to see. But, oh well, what are you going to do? And then we got Shockblock down here, off to the left, just complaining, kibitzing. Like, what are you people doing in my lab, kind of thing. I had a little bit of difficulty figuring out the pose for Fireburn here, because I wanted it to be, both of them were taking shots at Cyberserk. But I actually didn't really leave myself enough room to do it. I thought I'd planned it out okay, and then, put it together. Like, oh no, this kind of looks like crap. So don't do that. And I swear, Shockblock, it might just be like a, not seeing him regularly. But he seems to get larger every time I draw him. So he's just working out every time he's not on panel. Popo stays about the same every time. Hard, yeah, he switches up. But that's part of Hard's deal. I'm not going to say it's one of his powers. It's more just like, he's always got to be the biggest dude. And I do rather like the pose I got from Cyberserk here. That took a while to figure out, because I wanted to get him kind of running away from Fireburn and Hard. Now I'm trying to remember if I said the right name. We're talking about Cyberserk now. But yeah, I wanted him running away from Fireburn and Hard. But the problem with this angle, of course, is if you get him like backing up, because I want him, shooting back or something at the same time. But it's tough to do that and then not have his back completely to the camera here. And you don't want that. This is your first reveal of the character for this issue. So I was thinking of like some kind of like flip jump here, doing like kind of a pirouette midair almost, so he can just kind of blast wildly over his shoulder here or under his abs, perhaps. And yeah, got going on Fireburn here before I really kind of admitted to myself that this shot did not work. Because I didn't want it coming straight down or close to get like hitting. Okay, well, now we're switching. That works. Didn't want it hitting the bottom right corner of page 2 here, for example. I wanted it kind of more of a diagonal, but Hard's fist is right there. So you can kind of do it so like he shoots right under Hard's arm, but like, man, that turns into a mess. And it makes things kind of tough to tell what's going on. So decided, you know what, no, forget it. And it looks like I did white him out largely there already, so that's good. So we get this massive shot of Cyberzerk here. This is probably the biggest I've ever had to draw him in an issue so far, so that's cool. It's definitely the biggest I've drawn Hard so far. And that's fun, because you just pour on the detail. Like all the tendons, all the fake tendons in the arm here. That's the good stuff. And no excuses for forgetting parts of the costume now, because you need to fill up that space. That white space is the enemy. And get his multiple bionic nipples in there, or whatever they are. They're the things from Centurions. I'm pretty sure it's Centurions, where they have like nodules. So theoretically, you could plug like accessories into Hard's torso and arms and legs there. Probably like wings or like a gun. That kind of thing. It'll never happen in the comic. But, you need something to eat up some real estate on that costume. Last thing you need is like just a dude jumping around in a leotard. That's fine for Savage Dragon. He's got 3,000 characters. He can have the odd guy just jumping around in a leotard. We can't afford to do that shit. This is like character number 8. Of course, this is issue 3, so we're going to have to introduce more guys here. I think issue 3 is the last one we introduce new guys in, for the rest of this arc at least. Oh, we got us some Cyber Dreads, and large Cyber Dreads. That's going to take a lot of rendering. Well, rendering implies, factoring in light sources and, maybe a little bit of perspective and where something is positioned on the page. That sort of no. We're just going to put shinies. We're going to put our standard issue shinies all over Cyberzerk here. Pretty good double lighting on that arm though. It's always a little tough figuring out exactly how to go about with the double lighting. It's like, am I overdoing the double lighting? Generally speaking, it's a good idea to go ahead and double light, but there's going to be the odd time where it's not going to be necessary, and I don't know if I'm going to recognize it, just because I'm used to doing it all the goddamn time. So yeah, instead of shooting at Cyberzerk, we're going to have Fireburn here, just kind of flying around, looking dynamic, which is a fine thing for Fireburn to do. He's got a cool enough look. He can do that. And again, kind of twist him up here, get some fire under him. It was around here that I realized, like, oh, wait a minute, he doesn't actually need to be on fire at all times. when he's flying. Not necessarily. Not if I decide that he doesn't have to be anyway. You know? Like if I decide he just levitates and like maybe he goes on fire when he really takes off, that sort of thing. That would work. What am I going to do? Run it by my editor? I think he agrees. And with these giant figures here eating up a whole bunch of real estate, we're going to make it so that we don't have to worry too much about backgrounds, right? Not so much. That's maybe the one area on this page where things could have gone better. The backgrounds, I'm not a fan of how they turned out, but it's a good kind of lesson going forward. But we're not there yet. We'll get there shortly. And of course, whenever Fireburn flies, the fire is always in like this twisting kind of cone, because that's just cooler that way. If you get a stream of fire, that's boring. And we get shock block here. This will take no time, and then we get to work on those backgrounds. And this is my old camera, so unfortunately, we are going to lose focus every once in a while, but it doesn't seem to happen too often anymore, at least. Biggest problem was when it would happen during revisits, because you flip the page, all of a sudden, part of the book is much closer to the camera, and that fucks up the camera. So that as long as I don't do that anymore, I think we're pretty much okay. And forgot to leave room for the staff here, of course. So we'll have to white out all through there. You might as well make the lines first. There we go. There's some whiteout. And try to put off the backgrounds a little bit, just because, man, there's going to be a lot here. Yeah, I was going to say, it really isn't that much. It kind of is. It's like half a page of just, like, random fake tech. See, like this on the arm here, this is rendering. And I do kind of like how it turned out, to be honest. Because we're trying to get that speed with the downward punch here. And get it kind of reflected in whatever the armband things on his arms here are. And yeah, I think it kind of works a little bit manga-y, but not too much. There are things you can use from manga that are positive. Not a lot, but the odd thing. The sales numbers, I'd take that. And this thing was supposed to be like a monitor of some kind, and it really just kind of ended up looking like a high-tech chair a little bit, like a captain's chair. I decided to try and take some tech from X-Men #1. I don't think that was the way to go. This was before I did... Oh, we're not doing that one yet, are we? Oh, it should be next week's revisits, which is X Factor, numbers 65 through 68 by Whilce Portacio. And realized during that, I should be stealing everything from Whilce. So going forward, that's actually what I will be doing. But at this point, it's like, I don't know where you get tech from. Silvestri, it's like, I don't know. I don't understand what Silvestri's doing. And Jim Lee, I don't know. He does it kind of sparingly because he doesn't like it either. And didn't realize, of course, that I'm completely off camera here. That's okay. There we go. I figured it out. And decided that, yeah, we're going to have a full-on milk crate full of gadgets and gizmos and stuff. And that's a pretty good milk crate, I got to say. I'm rather pleased with how that milk crate turned out. And then very random shapes springing out of it here. And then just like boxes. And I had to kind of restrain myself from writing like MISC or bric-a-brac on them. It's like Sharkblock knows. He doesn't need to label them. And yeah, it's just like weird techie stuff that, I don't know, he's scrounged from somewhere or he's maybe tinkering with. Who knows? And try and make it look a little bit different from each other. And also get some like laser blast scorch marks. Yeah, it looks all right. And he's got like a little desk there, little monitors. Yeah, it can't be very much left, right? A little bit. This is smart here to do the outside hall first here, I think. Or just box this in. Yeah. This isn't bad. The problem here is that I'm using the brush pen for just about everything, which is incorrect, I would say. I should be using it sparingly on backgrounds, which is what I'll be trying to do going forward anyway. And then using microns for most of the line work. But the problem here is that by using the brush pens, I'm using the same quality of line as I'm using on the figures, or pretty close anyway. So they're going to have a tendency to kind of meld together, and that's not preferable. Yeah, get the outside here. And again, just, I don't know, making shit up. Okay, I kind of had it under control here. Using a lot of microns here. That's good. I think it's mostly on the ceiling that it becomes a problem. Because it's like, yeah, this all looked fine. And then I started wanting to, yeah, right, like I started wanting to rush it a bit. I mean, the brush pen uses more ink, eats up more space. And you can see, like, Cyberzerk here pops out okay, but he's starting to get a little bit lost because that background's getting a little too busy. Maybe one of the smart things I did here was to do big panel lights, but in between kind of filled it up with, yeah, this brush pen tech stuff, which is, yeah, again, too busy and the lines are too thick. But I mean, we are getting close to the end of this page actually, so that's kind of okay, really, I suppose. Yeah, this thing here, like, this doesn't look like anything. I'm trying to make it look like something. It's not really cooperating. It's one of those things where it's like, well, it's off in the corner. I guess it won't be that big a deal. And yeah, here's some more of that tech with the wrong pen, and it's, yeah. Fireburn's getting all lost in there. So it's going to be up to the colorist to make sure that they recognize where he begins and where the tech, well, where he ends and the tech begins. There you go. And outlining the hair a little bit here, so it's not just a mass. Getting those shinies in, getting the highlights, but more importantly, getting some, well, not more importantly, but as importantly, getting like a thicker outline. Yeah, see, way too thick there. And going, okay, now you fill it up with the micron, and it's seamless. It's not so much. Now we get to do the outside of the hull. Okay. I seem to have lost this ruler. I'd like to get this ruler back. Not sure where it went. This is a bit better. Again, well, then you fill it up with those weird techie knickknacks. But yeah, that should just about do it, I think. Yeah, and then do a little bit of paneling here, which is a little bit enterprisey. All right, no Next Generation, kind of like that kind of thing. But yeah, no, it eats up some space. That's all right. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Okay. So that is page number 2. And not bad. Altogether, I'll put up both of them together so you can see how they turned out. But you want to definitely check out next week's video thing where I show how page 3 came about, because that's just hard punching, and that's like the meat of this. It's the hard meat. Oh, fuck. No, I didn't say that at all. Anyway, that's part 1 of this double page spread. So yeah, check out next week's where I'll show you part 2. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you'll know when page 3 comes up. You need that hard meat. Fuck. My window's open too. I wonder if my neighbors can hear that shit. Click on the description and follow the links to my Patreon. Subscribe there. And that'll give you access to the Blood Force pages. That'll give you access to all these videos before they get uploaded to YouTube. And then while you're at it, you might as well go over to my Instagram and commission some Blood Force artwork, because you can't get enough Blood Force. Who could? But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.